Hello all, welcome to this session of OpenMentor.net. In this we are going to see how to define literals and constants. If you see here, after the hash include I have given hash define maxlen 5. I have not given a semicolon after this one. Anywhere you have this hash or the compiler declaratives, you don't give a semicolon at the end of the line. So it is a convention to have the definitions of hash defines in capital case. It's not a mandatory rule. So inside the main function, I have defined a variable and I have assigned that x to 6. I want to use this in arithmetic expressions or string expressions. You can still use the hash defines. So it's basically a literal. So I am just replacing this maxlen with 5. Whenever the code compiles, this maxlen will be replaced with the 5 value and then the expression will be executed. Now if you see here in the printf statement, I have additionally introduced, I want to print the value of x. So inside I have given a string within double quotes. Within that I want to print x is, and then I have given %d. This is called format specifier. Okay, format specifier. Okay. So the %d means I am going to print an integer variable which is x. You can have multiple format specifiers. We will see that later. \n means you leave that line, come to the next line. It's a carriage return. It's like you hit a enter key. So it comes to the next line. So I calculate the value of x based on the hash define. I do some arithmetic operation plus. Then I print this. So while printing, I am giving some portion as a static text, some portion as a variable value using format specifier. Then I am giving a line break. This get character is to make sure that the screen stays without disappearing. Now if I run this one, you see here it prints 11, x is 6, and the hash define maxlen is 5. So 5 plus 6 is 11. So which is fine, absolutely fine. So I moved off this. There is something called a constant also. Now if you see here, I am defining a constant and then say max size equal to 10. You can use this x is equal to x plus, let us do this, max underscore size. Okay. Let us compile this, run it out. So the size is 10, x is equal to 6, it's doing 16, which is good. So when it is used in an arithmetic expression, it has the same effect, no problem. But what you do here is, while you're doing hash define, you don't specify the data type, whereas if you use this word const, C-O-N-S-T, you specify the data type also. So the constants do have data types. But one thing is, if you are defining, though this also looks like a variable definition, this also is a variable definition, the addition you have got here is const. So if you do something like this, max underscore size equal to max underscore size plus 1, I want to increment it. I'm trying to compile it. Let me do this. Now you get an error. It says max size is read-only variable because max size is defined as a constant, so you cannot change it. So you cannot change the value of this constant, so you have to necessarily come out of it to execute it. Okay. So I just commented the line. Now it is calculating fine. So if you have a constant, you cannot modify the value. A define has no data type, it just replaces the values then and there. I hope this is clear. This is a fundamental difference between hash define and constant. These two are used to have anything that doesn't change in the program. You can use either a hash define or a constant depending upon the data types. Now I'm going to show you another simple program. If you do not know what is the internal size of the variables or the data types, for example, how many bytes in your machine, in your compiler it is using, for different data types, all you need to do is use the Sizeof operator. I simply say size of the char, size of short, size of int. You make a simple print statement. This is a static char. %d means the Sizeof will return an integer value. I am going to print an integer. \n is going to give a line break, or it goes to the next line. So if you do not know what is the limits or the size of the data storage for different data types, just create a simple program like this, then run it. When it runs, it says character is 1 byte, short is 2 bytes, integer is 4 bytes, long is 4 bytes, float is 4 bytes, double is 8 bytes. So this is a very simple way of running or knowing the size of character or the data types. Again, this slightly changes from machine to machine implementation. There is a limits.h definition file, header file. If you want to know, you can open that file from the C library and then see what all the values that is stored in limits.h, the minimum and maximum value. The minimum and maximum value actually depends upon how many bits you have got for that particular data type for storage. Okay, so in this session we have talked about the fundamental hash define and constant, and we talked about how to find the size of different data types. Thank you.